So hello and welcome back to Test Drive Thursday. Today we're jumping back in a Kenworth, but a Kenworth W900B this time, again from GTM Mods. So let's get started by taking a look at all of the configuration. Right then, so here we are inside the truck configurator. Now one thing to note is when you're in the Kenworth dealership, you need to make sure you click on the Kenworth W900B, because it doesn't replace the standard SES one. That is still in the truck configure in the truck dealer. So yeah, make sure where it says what truck you got, what truck you're about to choose at the top, that it says Kenworth W900B. But that's pretty much it. So let's go on to the cabin. We got 3 different cabins to choose from. Obviously day cab, studio cab, and the aero cab. Pretty standard stuff. The aero cab just adds that little aerodynamic fin on the top. No extra interior space. I do like the studio cab. I like the different levels. You got this level, and this one. I just think it looks kind of cool. And all the windows as well, like these ones up here. It looks very good. On the chassis, obviously the short ones are for when you go for the day cab, but you've got everything from a 6x2 up to a 8x4 with steerable axles. You also got an extra long 6x4, that's pretty extreme. You can see the difference there. There aren't any 400-gallon tanks that I can see. The biggest one that you can get is a 360. Don't know if we can like see the. Yeah, you can see the difference there. Much bigger tanks either side, but you do lose the bigger steps. You only get these little ones, so it's up to you which ones you prefer. Onto the engine, everything from a 370 up to a, what's the biggest one we've got? A 625, I believe. Yeah, you've got a range though. You've got Cummins, Packard, Cat as well. They always sounds pretty nice. Onto transmissions, 7 speeds, 6 speeds, 10s, 18, 13, everything you'd want with or without retarders. Interior is the same as the other GTM mods. I believe the one I tried last week had the sort of same style interior where you can choose different sort of patterns and stuff. I like the black, I think it works best. I just wish all this was black up here rather than cream. Or maybe I'd go for that one, I'm not too sure. But when you go for the diamond stitch, you also get the wood on the dash, which is something to consider. And also this is chrome around here. You don't get that with the standard. Onto the paint jobs. As with all GTM mods, you get some really nice skins to choose from and configure. I mean, that's a really nice colour. That works really well. Yeah, there's a good range there for you to have a look at. Look at that, that's really cool. But yeah, let's go on to the main options. Bumpers down here, you can see nice range. I do like that, that's pretty cool. But yeah, loads to choose from. If you're going for like quarry work and stuff, you might want to go for that so you get better approach angles. Here you can stick on your oversized load if that's what you're up to. The warning flags, you can sort of do some like indicator lights on there. Don't know if you can see that, but they work as indicators. You can remove them if you want, or you can have the metal trim and the indicator lights. Got some mirrors up there. Sadly you can't change the grille. That would be a nice addition, I think, as with most of the GTM mods that I've tried so far. You can change the mirrors, and a little light bar on there, and then some extra lights down the side to match these. I don't think there's a massive amount of configuration. You've got the logging rack back here, and the headache rack for storage. Right, we've got the exhaust here. You can remove the Kenworth sort of signage on the side, but I think it looks so cool. I wouldn't remove it, even though it does sort of reduce visibility. I wouldn't remove it. Up here you've got different visors, light adapters, horns, more lights, and then you got the beacons, and then a spoiler. Now I do like the turbo wing, I think it's quite classy and cool. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the exterior. On the interior, again, you can't really change much. You can change the steering wheel, and to be honest, that's pretty much it. So now I'm going to do a time lapse of me building this truck to my spec. Okay then, so here we are, all fully configured. Now I do think this looks really good in the grey. I don't really go for sort of darker colour trucks. I do like to go for sort of more bright colours. But with this, all the chrome, it just works really well. It shows up the lines really good as well. So there are some things that I've noticed that GTM has added from the standard W900. If you look at the sort of wheel arches, they're sort of plastic wheel arch extenders on there, but apart from that I can't really see much different. I did go with the long 6x4, so this thing is absolutely massive. But yeah, there is a W900 over the forecourt over there, so I was thinking go and park next to that and see if we can sort of see any notable changes. I went with the Packard 510 with a 18 speed Eaton Fuller, if you wondered. But yeah, I think I might just sort of park forward next to this guy. Try not to hit that Ford, which we're pretty close to doing. Right, there we go. So obviously we are on a little bit of a ridge here. If we just turn the engine off. I do think the grille is wider. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, it definitely is wider. It doesn't seem to slope down as much either. But yeah, look at it from that angle. You can definitely see it there. I don't think it's a height thing, but yeah, I don't think it slopes down anymore. It seems quite flat. Is there anything else I can see? Not really. Door seems the same, cabin seems pretty the same. The sort of central sort of 3D stripe on the bonnet seems the same, or hood. Yeah, I don't think there's that much difference apart from getting a standard day cab and just parking it out here. I really can't see that much of a difference apart from the grille. The sort of front of the grille seems the same, but it just seems a little bit bigger and wider on this W900. I may be wrong, but that's what I can sort of see. I do have a job set in the sat-nav, so I'll go ahead and pick that up. But yeah, so far I am liking this. I do really like the W900s anyway, but yeah, this thing drives really nicely. Right then, so we're all loaded now. I'll just turn on the side lights. Look at that. Looks so good, this truck, especially the ones on the rack behind. They look really nice. Yeah, on the inside there are some tiny differences on the inside, apart from the sort of reworked interior. The badge on the wheel, it's different. It's got like a black background, which I do really like, to be honest. It works with the black trim on the dashboard, and if you go for a darker coloured truck, I think it looks really good. The indicator sounds seem different, if you ask me, versus the standard one. I think in the base game I've done around 25,000 game miles in a W900, so I think I know it fairly well. Obviously I've got a different engine in this, and the one that I've got a Cat 625 engine with a 10 speed, no, or was it 13? Either 13 or 10 speed, I can't remember. So it's a little bit of a different setup, and it's a day cab as well, so. But the interior is the same. It drives pretty similar, to be honest. You don't really notice the bigger cabin and longer chassis, I'm finding. I mean, how many litres was it? Gallons, sorry. It must have been the 300. It's a bit weird that. Why is it saying 302? But yeah, plenty of range. I mean, 2,000 miles. Oh, it's saying 2,225. You probably get around 2,000 on that if you're driving fairly sensibly. If you're not, you might get about 1,800, which isn't bad, to be honest. If we get onto the main highway here, or interstate. Oh, I took that corner a bit quick. But yeah, 510 PACCAR. It sounds really good. It doesn't rev as high as the standard game, I'm finding. It sort of stops revving around 2,200. In the standard game you can take it up to around 2,500. It doesn't seem as revvy, which is one of the characters, well, yeah, sort of character traits I liked about the standard one. I'm finding I'm changing up around here. Else it gets a bit too noisy with this engine. But it cruises really nicely. I mean, we are speeding a little bit here, so let's slow down. Put cruise control on at 58, there we go. 18th gear, it's doing 1100 RPMs. It is quite loud really for 1100 revs. I do think it could be a little bit quieter, like the other trucks I've tested, but if you go for a different engine, I'm guessing that might be the case. Right, what lane should we be in here? I think stop in this lane and we'll be fine. But yeah, on the configuration front with this mod, I do think GTM could have done a little bit better. It doesn't seem to offer that much over the standard game. I can't really think, apart from the grills and stuff, not the grills, the bull bars and maybe the interior, there isn't really much that has changed with the configuration, which I would have wanted to see, to be honest. I think that's what this truck needs, a really detailed configurator like the Scania RGL or whatever in Eurotruck. I really wish he did a lot more configuration on it. The engines, they're pretty standard, to be honest. It doesn't really offer much in the way of that. Transmissions are fine, there's like 25 or something to choose from. Driving dynamics are fine. I already like the way the Kenworth W900 drives. Wow, it's really deceiving, this truck. You sort of slow down and you feel like you're walking, but when you take a corner you're like, wow, I took that a bit too quick. Just you don't seem like you're going that quick, if you see what I mean. Oh, there's another W900. They do look good, these trucks, very sort of classic looking. get back in before we have a crash. But yeah, 510 engine. This is what, 19 tons, so it's probably around about average weight for the load that you're going to take in this game. And it seems to have plenty of torque, to be honest, this engine. It's not that bad at all. It's quite bassy as well, but you get that sort of turbo whistle, which is kind of cool. I just wish it was a tiny bit quieter at lower revs, because when you sort of rev it out, it doesn't really get much louder than at this level. It's just a slightly different tone, which I find kind of unusual, to be honest. It drives really well though. I mean, it just grabs onto anything. There's hardly any body roll or anything. Alright, slow it down. That was a bit of a better speed, but that was still 20 miles an hour around that corner, which is pretty quick for a truck. Right, come on up the hill. It's holding 24 miles an hour, which isn't bad. 12th gear. Could probably have been in a lower gear then. Right, it looks like we're turning in here though. So yeah, do I recommend you getting this GTM mod? Yes, probably. I don't think it offers that much over the standard game, but any improvements are sort of welcome over the SDS one, even though that isn't bad anyway. I just wish it had a little bit more customization and extra little things to make it a little bit more different over the standard one, but yeah, it's not too bad, and it does look so good. I mean, look at that. It's got to be one of the best looking American trucks there is. Right, just got to park it in there. It's fairly tight. I'm going to try and not do a blindside reverse, but we have got that really long chassis. I don't think it's the turning circle's that bad, to be honest. I thought it would be a lot worse than this. I mean, it's massive. I mean, you look how far back you sit. That's quite interesting. In some of the American trucks, you sit pretty much right on the front axle, but with this, you sit quite far back. Right, sorry for not talking, I'm just concentrating whilst I get this in here. There we go. Right, neutral, park, engine off. So there we go. If you enjoyed that video, please do give me a like, subscribe for more, and hopefully I'll see you again soon. Goodbye.